Hello future tech leaders, I am Sindhuja. Based on my own experience, I know that learning the right skills can shape our future. What if I say learning was as thrilled as the tech world itself? There we go. A cloud foundation, that's exactly what you will experience. From day one, you will be immersed in the interactive sessions and expert-led courses that covers most of the widely used technologies in the zone of data science to cloud computing, which brings more light to the life of a techie. I'm so excited to help you and unlock the true potential of a technology. Well, then why to wait? Let's see what it unfolds.
As we were talking about the clipboard, let us go ahead. We'll see how the clipboard looks like. I'm just going to open the App Studio. We just run a transaction and we'll see how the case data will be available on the clipboard. Let me create a new case instance. And more frequently, the developers would be using the clipboard because they would be involved in the debugging. But as we might also sometimes need to work on the clipboard. Just understanding it would be a lot more beneficial. Let me just go to the case types. Where did you click now? No, I just clicked on the case types, only the regular case type. Let me just run the transaction. Then we'll open the clip. Let me just save and run. I'm creating an instance. Let me just run the instructions. Let me just run the instructions. My creator view does not have any fields. I can just advance my transaction. Let me proceed further. Now on each screen, the data that I'm filling will be available on the clipboard. Let us fill in details here and then I will launch the clipboard. With each screen, you proceed further, you get to see that data being populated on the clipboard. Suppose now I try to fill in this first name, please. Some address. And on the candidate details, let me give her a word. Let me also fill in some candidate details. I'll just give in candidate name 1. Let me add in one more item, candidate, and then probably rest of those could also be given. Let me submit now. I will launch the clipboard to see this data on the clipboard. Now let me click on this bottom right corner. And the first thing that you see on the clipboard is a thread. The thread is something that you need to make sure you are pointing it to the right thread. Thread is nothing but your case instance. What is the case? Instance that I'm running is R7001. The thread number, yes, let me choose R7001. Alright, let me click on this. And now you get to see all the 4 categories: user pages, data pages, link property pages, and system. This helps you debug the correct. Within system pages, you see application data, you see organization division unit. A lot of other things are available. You see the name. There's the property and the value that is assigned to it. Not every property is prominent because we don't need every property. What are we interested is in this. User pages. Within user pages, I see a lot of things. What am I interested in? Is your PA work page? Your PA page. If you see it is of the work-recruitment type, which means it says you are running a recruitment transaction. And here are my PY work page. And here are my PY work page. And here are my PY work page property and the value. Address. I've given something called a sample. And then there's date of birth. There's some email experience. First name experience is yet to be filled. It doesn't have any value. There's gap in education. These also have to be filled in, yet I don't see any values for it. At least these properties I created, they are available now with this. I also see a lot of other properties. PX related properties are there. PY prefix properties are there. PZ prefix properties are also there. These are generated by the system. Why it is giving a edit option here? Because you can edit. If you are in the leaf, you can edit and rerun it instead of putting another instance. Can you correct it and rerun it like you don't want to get? If the customer has signed something and if it is stuck somewhere for some mistake, right, you can do that, and in fact, you can also check how your case is navigated to across different paths. That's while debugging, but still while debugging, usually in the error page, it doesn't let you edit anything, isn't it? You need to come to the application and do it. But here when I edit, I can just make sure all the user-defined fields are editable and your PY related fields are editable, whereas PX and PZ. Once you save, what happens? It automatically takes the value, or you have to run somewhere again. No, if suppose there is ABCD, if it will itself run again. Yes, on the clipboard, I'll be seeing a change here, and in fact, the same change reflects back on the case in application. On the case, I see these properties here. But what about the candidate and the candidate list properties? I don't see them on the PY work page. Correct candidate and candidate list properties. Right, I've added in some candidate, but I don't see them here on the PY work page. Where do I see it? No, as these are single value properties, I see them directly on the PY work page. But the candidate and the candidate list are page properties and page list properties. Right? They are not single value properties inside the PY work page. Here is your candidate list and I've added some 2 or 3 instances, right? I see them here, candidate name 1 and I have candidate 2, then candidate 3. That's the you get on the clipboard. With respect to the data modeling, if you are handling single value properties, they would be directly available on the PEY work page. If you are dealing with page list properties, you get to see them inside. They are embedded inside the PY work page, right? Are we clear of this? Any questions? Let me just add in some experience details as a user also. If you start a case like as a user, if you're as a user, you have logged in and put something in the application. Even then, you can see it in the clipboard as a BE, isn't it? But if it's a user, I don't let him do any debugging, right? No, as a user, I'm not saying he can see the clipboard. I'm saying what? As a user, they have put you as a BA can check in the clipboard. Yes, you can see it. Correct, you can do it. Yes, just save it. Now I should see the changes. They have to be reflected back on your case type. For example, either if it's something on this particular screen, you can refresh, or if it's something on the next screen. Let me see. Let me proceed further. You see, experience have given again, right? And the text tag they have given Java by the clipboard. Clipboard is not just for viewing, but you can also make changes on the data and you can get it reflected back on the case type. That's the purpose of having a clipboard. This is helpful in that changing it in the data, going directly changing in the database. You can do it on the clipboard. Isn't it like that exactly? Are we good with the clipboard? The same thing. If you do any changes in the clipboard as a user information in the systems, you can see who has done that. Changes also in the system. Yes, we could do it. Yes, we can see. Because when it is in the production, you want to see the audit logs. Isn't it sometimes who has done what? That if somebody has changed something without notice, you go and check it in the system log. Isn't it who has done it? Right, you. You can have that as well. Yes, far that's the main use. I think it is the thing. Isn't it in the life for this one like as admin, like not as admin or BA? Whoever is handling, they can make changes if it is required. And if you want to check any audits, you can go and check the system logs. Yes, maybe probably once we are done with the next thing that we will be discussing is about data validation. It would be done in like 15 minutes. Then far, we spoke about the data modeling, the case designing and sort of stuff, but we have seen how the data, when I talk about validating the data, it's always important. We need to validate the information or validate the data that users enter into your application. Right? Because any data that the user enters, I cannot just consider it and I cannot go on with processing it. Right? I need to make sure the data is of the right format, it is of the right type, that only then I can proceed with my transaction without any errors. Always important, Any application you take, we should validate the information. Let's see if we do that on the Pega class. And finally, do not forget to like, share and subscribe to our channel.